figure fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Power of the Primes Deluxe Class Moonracer. If you'd like to pick her up or any of the other Power of the Prime figures, you can do so now at Big Bad Toy Store. For the packaging, this is the front of the box. This and this is the side of the box. And this is the back of the box. Go ahead and pause it right now in case there's anything on the back here that you'd like to read. And here we have Moonracer opened up out of her packaging and obviously in her vehicle mode. Now, there's definitely some issues with this figure. It's not the worst that I've reviewed ever, but there's some definite glaring problems, I think, with it. In general, vehicle mode-wise, I think she looks pretty cool. Very thin, which is very strange, but it's unique. I mean, you can see just how thin she is as a car. Her prime armor sits like this. I think it actually looks a little bit better if you maneuver this a little bit. Take this out. Here's her gun. If you position this a little bit more up, you can kind of tuck this down like that, and then you can play with these a little to position things a little bit better, and you can put that back in there. I think that looks a little bit better. You just have to kind of wedge it in between these two pieces right here, but it sort of fits. It's not a perfect fit, but it works decently. But vehicle mode wise, I think she looks pretty decent. I don't have too much of a complaint. Obviously, you got the teal, you have purple, white, really nice color on there. Very nice Autobot logo printed right on the front. You got some blue translucent plastic pieces here for like windows and such. One thing that I do have a problem with, though, I don't know how well this is going to come across, but when you zoom in, you can see that post right there. That like sits right on the ground, and it just scrapes. I mean, like that, I mean, like it barely catches, and the table here is not perfectly smooth, so it kind of catches a little bit better than if it's on a table. You also have these little posts here in the front that kind of hang down fairly low. These ones in the back are the worst offenders, so you're basically just scraping. I don't like that design at all. I think in terms of vehicle mode, they could have done much better with that, or made the tires a little bit bigger, the hair bigger. I mean, you could have redesigned this to give her a little bit bigger of a tire to have it sit there. That's definitely something that I think that they messed up on. But, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different posts here, so you can have cup stand right there and drive around. I don't know why you would do that. That seems kind of strange. I mean, maybe you can have... Oh, no. Even the sitting thing doesn't look all that good. So, there's that. Now, we have been getting more fembots lately. Here's Alita 1. Obviously, you can see this is a Voyager, this is a Deluxe, so obviously there's going to be a size difference. But I like that we're getting these female Autobots. They were a sub-faction that stayed behind on Cybertron to kind of work with the Resistance. You had Alita 1, you had Chromia, you had Moonracer. I think in the comics, RC was even a part of that. But there was a couple of them, and I like that we're getting them. It's definitely a nice change, I would say. Now, you don't have to keep the prime armor attached, but when you do remove it, that's what you're left with, a big giant hole. I mean, technically her hands are supposed to be down like that, but then even that hangs down. I mean, so you do kind of want to bend those in a little bit. So that's what I was saying, like leaving this like kind of fit through there and kind of filling in that area definitely makes that look a lot better. I mean, that's just ugly. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, this, keeping it on there, does make it look a little bit better and fills it out. But that's the regular way that it's supposed to be. So, I don't know. Okay, so you do have that. You do have, like I was saying, the prime armor, the same functionality with it. It's not easy to do because of the lack of fingernails. So let's see, can I somehow wedge this out? maybe. Come on, fingernail. There we go. So you can pull that out. Again, you can use this little bit as a weapon, or you can take one of these Enigma of combination things and plug that in there. You're going to plug in there? There you go. You can put that in there if you really want to. You have that. And then here we go. Here's cup. Let's use cup, because why not? It's fun. And look, there's a head right there. All that same functionality. Obviously, it can be a hand on either hand. It gives you the ability, or on either arm, it gives you that ability with the two different thumbs. You can remove this, or hey, just leave it, because again, I've said this before, they're alien robots. Why can't they have two thumbs? Why is that a thing? Comes with a nice gun, just molded in this black plastic, nothing spectacular there. For her transformation, not overly complex. It does a few interesting things. First, we're going to untab these little wing bits and then straighten out these sections here, which obviously become her arms. Take this entire top section here, then rotate this. There's a lot of rotating that you're doing. So you're spinning that around, then you want to detach this bit here, kind of pull this away from the body, and then take the waist area and rotate this, not the upper section. There's two different sections here. So rotate the lower section now, bringing that around. Now, the instructions tell you to put this all the way up. I'll do that. Give me a second. Oh, and actually, before you do all that, keep this kind of rotated around, and then you can move this forward. You have a little lip right here that allows you to bring that forward, and then spin her head and her chest up, and then put that down, and then rotate that. So there we go. So I'm going to put it up there for right now, but I'm going to show you. You leave it there. You're already seeing what gets a little bit ridiculous. Bring your arms down, just like that. You can separate these legs, and then fold these pieces down to create her feet. Kind of position everything, straighten everything out a little bit, and when you're done, there you have Moonracer in a robot mode. Maybe, there we go. You can kind of get her to stand there if she's leaning forward a little bit, but there's her. There's a robot mode, and she's ready to go backpacking. I mean, she's off into the wild blue yonder with that ugly thing. I mean, wow, that's ugly. This bit here sticking out of her arms. Yeah, let me just come in for a closer look, because I mean, there's a lot that I do like on here. I do really like the color as well. The head sculpt is gorgeous. Nice paint on there. You got some yellow on there. You got a little bit of like a fuchsia, I guess. Some pink for the lipstick, some nice blue eyes, nice Autobot logo is there as well. The color in general looks really nice on her. I mean, these arms though, I mean, this isn't all that bad. I mean, it's kind of ugly from the inside. I guess it's not terrible. That backpack though, I mean, wow, that's a hardy backpack. We'll get to more of that here in a bit. You come down here, and I wish that these could spin and like rotate around to be more on the back of her leg as opposed to being in the front, because as it is, it just looks like there's this big thing here in the front. So if this could have rotated around, that would have been really nice. And I'm trying to, I don't know, she's got two joints here in her knee. That's actually pretty impressive. I wish it did, and I don't know why they couldn't have put that on there, but they didn't. And then her feet, you can see, have the windshield on it. So there's a lot of, for a deluxe figure, there's a lot of stuff that I feel could have been refined on her. That it is a little unfortunate, because I do like the toy for the most part. I just feel it's basically like a legend figure. The transformation is very simple, like one, and then something like this, this little gappy bit, this hanging out here, a big giant backpack like that, all really does just kind of scream legend class to me. Now, you can make this look a little bit better by leaving this down. That makes it look, in my opinion, a whole lot better. But then you do have the section here kind of between her legs. I think that makes her look a ton better, though. So that's going to be how I ultimately will display her. But, I mean, she's... I'm struggling because I really do want to like her. I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit on her and could have done so much more in terms of recreating this character, that it does just come across as a bit of a letdown, I think. It's still fun. I'm still happy with her, but I feel like she could have been better. Now, for a comparison, I'm going to bring in Alita 1 just because she's the only other, these female Autobots that we have. I mean, I'm still not a big fan of how big Alita 1 is, but, I mean, I guess it works. She's like kind of the leader of the female Autobots. I kind of wish that they were all deluxe size just to kind of have some cohesiveness to the look, but in general, I mean, I'll get over it. Articulation is pretty good. One thing that I will say is if you leave this up like so, it does require a really good amount of balancing. As you can see, she stands pretty decently. The feet are fairly stable, but you will have to be creative with your kind of balancing. But all the articulation is there that you could need. The head is on a nice ball joint. You get a good range of motion there. Looks up and down very nicely. The shoulders here also are on ball joints. So you pretty much get a full range of motion. I find it interesting that like the ball joint is actually like a clear bit of blue plastic. That's kind of crazy. And then the elbow is also a ball joint. So you do get that swivel and then a hinge forward and back. As part of the transformation, also, she does have a wrist hinge that allows it to move in and out a little bit. I guess she technically has two waist joints. One's a little bit higher. So, I mean, one's like a waist. Both are because of the transformation. So you can rotate there, and then the hips also rotate. So she's got a waist rotation and a hip rotation, but they're kind of pointless. One is sufficient, but it's due to the transformation that you get that. Ball joint, though, down here in the hip area, and then you also do have a swivel at the upper part of the thigh. She does have two bends here at the knee. You got that primary joint right below the little knee pad thing, and then the lower section also does bend. So she does have a lot of range of motion in there. I kind of feel like that's unnecessary. A lot of times you get a double joint because of the transformation. That's not really necessary for the transformation. So it is a little bit strange at that. I mean, I'm not complaining, but again, I feel like that's unnecessary to have. And then she does have a little bit, well, not a little bit, she does, because of the transformation that goes all the way up. So she does have a hinge here at the ankle, and then it also does, it's just a little pin hinge joint right there, so you can kind of tilt the feet outward a little bit. So lots of articulation in the figure, as much as you would kind of expect for her. Now, to transform her back, first, I'm going to lift her arms up. Just it kind of gets things out of the way, and you can bring these around and kind of do more stuff. If you had this up, you would obviously bring it down. Here is her wrist connector, or her arm connector. I'll show the combination mode when I take a look at all of these. I'll bring them all in that are supposed to combine with Alita 1, and I'll show it off there. But I'm not going to show it off here because it's just an arm and a leg, and we've seen it. Rotate at the waist area, then fold this section down a little bit, and then you rotate her head back into that cavity, and then you bring that whole section back down just like so. At this point, you make sure that's straight. You can bring these up and then fold these down. This section right here has a couple little teeth that will tab into the little slot on the upper part of her bicep. So just bring that, that little piece will tab in there, and that does that on both sides. And then you bring this around, and there's a little peg that latches in right there. Kind of go in from a side angle and then swoop forward to lock that into place, and then you can bring these little wrists up like so. Keep that up, and then you want to rotate at the actual hips, spin that around, bring these up, and these will latch into place on a little tab. Do that there as well. Then you bring these two sections together like so. Bring this down, kind of fold this forward, and collapse that in. And there you have her, back in her vehicle mode. In general, though, Moonracer's not a bad toy, but I'm really left... I just kind of wish she was better. I mean, as I said, I think the best way to describe her is she's a deluxe size legend figure. A lot of the problems that I have with her, if she was a legend size figure, I'd be a little bit more okay with. But at the deluxe price point, I'm kind of disappointed. Now, I'm excited that we got her, and for the most part, I do still recommend her. But she's definitely not a figure that I would race out and try desperately to find. I unfortunately wasn't able to find her at stores, and I had to pay $25 through eBay. And at that price, I am definitely disappointed. But I'd probably say if you can find her, maybe have some coupons or something, I'd pick her up then. But all that being said, if Moonracer is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, she is available at various retail locations right now, or as always, you can get her at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on her, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformers Power of the Prime figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Once again, this has been Optibotimus saying, if you liked this video, I would really appreciate your support and letting me know by hitting that thumbs up button. It actually does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you already subscribed, now more than ever it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to help support my channel and not miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And a very special thanks to you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. And remember, the real trouble with the world is too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.